everyone. I was just looking through my cards and just one popped out, and I thought it was very apt for what I was just talking about in my positivity card for today. This one, I always see the good in every situation. Now, even in the bad situations, there's always something good out, even the bad ones, especially if you actually recognise it. Silver lining in every situation, and the silver lining is that you learn a lesson, which is what was my other one. I am wise because what did that say? I am wise because I have. Oh, wait there. So I'm trying to read it on the screen. I should have found the card, but no, I am wise because I learn from my mistakes. There we go. See, every mistake has a silver lining. You learn a lesson at the end of it, or if you do recognise it, you can learn, and that's a good thing. Even in a bad situation, you can learn to move away. You can learn to disconnect. It's like they say, every cloud has a silver lining. You just got to look for it. Sometimes you've got to dig deep to look for it, and sometimes your head won't let you look for it. You can get into a state of where you don't see the good in anything, but that's usually because you've been triggered, and that goes back to yesterday's positivity card. I can't remember what that one said. I'm sure someone will remind me, or I can find it myself. Oh, mind you, I've shuffled now, so I won't be able to find it until I go through every card, I suppose. But yeah, seeing the positivity in the negative, it can be very difficult. Just because you've been triggered doesn't mean to say you're having a bad day. That's it. I knew it'd come back to me. It can be very hard to find that silver lining in any situation, but once you do, usually it's because you've learnt a lesson. That light bulb moment, ding, oh yeah, that's why. And you feel good. So even if something feels really bad, have a think, calm yourself down, trigger those good hormones in your brain before you sit down and think about what you've just been through, or trying to find the good in the situation. Because trying to think when your head's up your arse, you just can't do it. Your brain shuts down, and that's because of the stress hormones that's been created. But once you've managed to calm that side down, stop the stress hormone from being created, counteract it with some happy things, you can sit back and start to think of the situation with a stabler mind. And I think it was Sadiq Whip, even he was saying that, yeah, you have to physically step back and think of what's been triggering you, and pull back from that, and try and calm yourself down. Tell yourself that whatever the situation is, you might have thoughts that you're in danger and things like that once you've been triggered. Telling yourself that you're safe, especially after the event's over, because I know that triggers can last days and days and days, months and years even, when they build up and they're all on top of each other. So just standing back and telling yourself that it's not happening to you, you're safe, just reassuring yourself that you've got through it, and you've learnt the lessons of whatever it may be, that you recognise what's gone on, and you recognise that you weren't the problem, you recognise that you're safe, you recognise that it was some toxic person that's triggered you, or some toxic influence that's triggered you. It doesn't have to be a person, it could be it could be anything on the news, or it's like me. I know it might sound horrible, but yesterday morning I woke up, looked out my window and saw that one of the lovely squirrels around this area has been squashed. by a car, you know, and that triggers me, you know. I feel the pain that it must have gone through, and hoping that it was quick pain, you know. It just didn't know it'd been run over, you know. That's what goes through my head. Yeah, and I had to, you know, calm myself down so it didn't happen to me. You know, that poor little thing's gone up to heaven now or wherever, and part of the universe again. You know, its soul is carried on and probably going to be reborn into something else. So, you know, I have to sort of see the good in things. You know, it's going to be, well, because I'm spiritual, I do feel that we are reborn, to relearn our mistakes, you know, to break generational curses, and to learn the lessons through eternity, up until you have learnt your lesson, and you know, the final stage of moving forward, into whatever is there, into the universe. But yeah, I had to find the silver lining in that, you know, from death into rebirth, and it calmed me down. I mean, I could still see the carcass out there, like, you know, it's flat as a pancake. But it had birds pecking at it yesterday. It had seagulls and magpies pecking at it. And I just thought, oh, how horrible, what a horrible death to go through. But yeah, like I say, you know, you have to think of the good side of it. You know, it's fed some birds. You know, its carcass has carried on life for something else. And yeah, it's just finding the silver lining in something negative, which yeah can be very hard to do. But you do have to sit there and think. But once you've calmed yourself down first, because like I say, there's no point trying to do it when your head's up your ass, because you just won't be able to see any silver linings in anything. Because yeah, once you're in that doom and gloom phase of depression or your mental health state, you know, it's very difficult to get out. Very difficult to get out of. But yeah, happy thoughts, happy music, anything that makes you feel happy, even food, you know, obviously not overindulging. I know myself, I overindulge in food and I could put on weight really quickly. Excuse the tail. Don't sit on my keyboard, cat. But yeah, once you manage to calm your head down, you can start to still see the good in situations. Well, I hope that one helped. It was just me waffling on. But yeah, I just saw the card and I thought it all sort of like linked in with today and yesterday's sort of things that we've been going on about. Got one of those little sticky things. There's a brush outside that she rubs herself on and gets covered in. Anyway, I'll stop waffling. I might get on with my exercise before it gets too hot today. But thank you everybody for watching, subscribing, liking, sharing, and all your beautiful comments and support. And thank you very much. But yes, we have an extra card today. Always see the good in every situation. Bye bye everyone.